Across the arid savanna, a small animal forces both predators and prey to remain cautious. The honey badger does not dominate through size, but through calculated boldness and decisive action. It enters confrontations where others are compelled to retreat, facing threats ranging from venom to far larger opponents. Each hunt becomes a survival gamble, where a moment of delay carries real consequences. Within that narrow margin, the honey badger stands as a living symbol of unyielding strength. The honey badger is a symbol of resilience that pushes beyond physical limits. With an average weight of about 30 pounds, its body is designed for endurance rather than displays of raw strength. Its thick, loose skin allows it to move flexibly, turning disadvantages into openings to escape or regain control. A keen sense of smell, powerful claws, and unwavering determination enable the honey badger to never wait for opportunity, but instead actively seek it out. Within a harsh ecological cycle, the honey badger emerges as a reminder that adaptability is the most enduring form of strength. Across the open African savanna, the lion patrols its territory as a ritual deeply embedded in instinct. Weighing over 400 pounds, each step carries the confidence of a predator at the top of the food chain. A subtle movement beneath the low grass quickly enters its field of view: a honey badger. Small, solitary, and seemingly outside the familiar order of this land. The lion moves closer, not rushed, not explosive, just a cautious advance meant to assess. When pressed into open ground, the honey badger does not choose to flee. It turns to face the approach, raises its fur, and releases sharp, deliberate sounds, a clear signal that boundaries have been drawn. The pursuit lasts longer than expected. The honey badger constantly changes direction, stays low to the ground, and denies its opponent a favorable angle. With each turn, the balance of advantage gradually shifts. Time passes, energy is spent, and the predator's patience begins to wear thin. For the lion, this is no longer an efficient target. Too small, too stubborn, and too demanding for a territorial ruler. In addition, the honey badger possesses anal glands capable of releasing a powerful odor, strong enough to overwhelm the lion's highly sensitive sense of smell. The scent turns the encounter into a prolonged discomfort, a cost not worth paying. On the savanna, not every encounter ends in victory for the strongest. Sometimes resilience and timely calculation are what truly reshape the balance of nature. The honey badger's diet is rarely an easy path. Across arid landscapes, its survival journey often begins with the leopard tortoise, a slow-moving animal carrying a shell as solid as a mobile fortress. Rather than wasting energy against a nearly impenetrable barrier, the honey badger relies on patience. Claws measuring over 2 inches long are used as strategic tools, flipping the prey onto its back and forcing a flawless defensive structure to reveal its weaknesses. Step by step, it persistently works at the most vulnerable areas of the tortoise's body, until determination and strong jaws turn a hardened shield into an accessible source of nourishment. Leaving the dry mounds behind, the honey badger moves toward marshlands, territory associated with crocodiles, creatures known for bite force reaching up to 3,700 pounds, and a reputation that keeps many species at a distance. For the honey badger, however, danger is not an obstacle, but a condition for testing limits. It avoids direct confrontation and instead focuses on moments of inattention. Younger crocodiles that remain exposed, or adults resting along grassy banks. By positioning itself along the flank, within a natural blind spot, the honey badger waits for a loss of balance before applying control to the less protected neck area. The encounter concludes when the prize is drawn into dense vegetation, a reflection of the intelligence and boldness of a small animal that knows how to exploit rare openings within the world of larger species. Beneath dense undergrowth, snakes nearly blend into the landscape, both silent ambushers and masters of defense. Highly venomous species such as cobras or vipers possess extremely fast reflexes. In roughly 0.3 seconds, a defensive strike can extend 6 to 8 feet, enough to turn a minor mistake into a serious cost. But when the honey badger appears, the familiar balance begins to shift. Once detected, snakes often attempt to climb trees to create distance. The honey badger follows immediately, not in haste, but by pressuring the opponent back to the ground. It maintains close range, patiently waiting for a lapse in defense, then delivers a decisive move, fast, controlled, and precise. During this process, the honey badger may be exposed to venom. However, its body shows remarkable adaptation. Neural responses slow only temporarily, like a brief pause within the rhythm of the hunt. Once recovered, it resumes and completes the pursuit, demonstrating a level of resilience rarely seen among predators. Facing a python presents a different challenge, where strength and sustained struggle determine the outcome. Constricting coils turn the python into a living trap, yet loose skin allows the honey badger to maneuver even when at a disadvantage. It takes only a brief moment of distraction when a jackal passes by for it to break free, create distance, and gradually weaken the python. This is not simply a meal, but proof of the intelligence and calculated risk-taking of a small animal that knows how to use fragile openings to survive within the unforgiving rules of nature. Hyenas are seasoned opportunists of the vast African savanna. They rarely act alone. Their true strength lies in numbers. A clan of more than 10 individuals can coordinate tightly, applying constant pressure to disrupt an opponent and gradually drain its stamina. This strategy has forced many larger animals to retreat. This time their focus turns to the honey badger. As the circle begins to close, the honey badger does not search for an escape. It shifts into active defense, ready to surge toward any individual that comes too close. Short, sudden advances aimed at sensitive areas prevent the hyenas from maintaining a safe distance. Sharp vocal signals and unpredictable movement repeatedly disrupt coordination, the group's greatest advantage. After nearly an hour of sustained tension, hesitation sets in. Individual hyenas slow, the formation loosens, and eventually, the clan withdraws on its own, allowing the honey badger to continue its solitary journey. On the savanna, strength is not measured by numbers alone. Sometimes determination and decisive action are enough to force an entire group to reconsider the cost of engagement. In a rare encounter, the honey badger faces the southern African oryx, an antelope equipped with straight, blade-like horns, measuring nearly 4 feet long. When the oryx lowers its head in warning, the honey badger does not retreat immediately. It advances slowly, maintains a safe distance, observes reactions, and searches for gaps in the opponent's field of vision. The objective is not dominance, but psychological pressure, keeping the opponent in a constant state of alert. That determination becomes even more evident when the honey badger encounters an African elephant, an animal weighing over 10,000 pounds. It avoids direct confrontation, instead moving along the perimeter, creating just enough disturbance to demand the giant's attention. Even when knocked aside, skin roughly 0.25 inches thick and a flexible body allow the honey badger to recover quickly and continue tracking. The message is unmistakable. In nature, size does not always decide the outcome. At times, persistence, resilience, and the ability to recover are enough to make even the largest animals reconsider and keep their distance. The leopard is a master of patience and camouflage. With a heavier build than the honey badger and agile climbing ability, it often observes from low tree branches or sun-dappled grass, waiting for the right moment to approach. However, when the target is a honey badger, familiar calculations become less certain. One leopard notices a honey badger moving more slowly than usual and begins to test reactions, repeatedly shifting angles to search for an opening. The honey badger shows no sign of panic. It keeps its body close to the ground, constantly turning to face the threat, minimizing exposed angles. Flexibility and quick reflexes make it difficult for the leopard to maintain close pressure long enough to gain a clear advantage. The encounter stretches on in a state of tension, with both animals remaining cautious. In the frozen north, the grizzly bear, the apex predator at the top of the food chain, surges in like a whirlwind. Each heavy step stamps its authority into the ground, cutting the angle to lock onto its target. In one sudden burst, it throws up dust and shuts down every escape route. Without showmanship, sheer weight and relentless resolve force the target into a bad position within seconds. So what allows the grizzly bear to seize control so quickly? Grizzly bears weigh from about 400 to over 800 pounds, with long claws and bite strength capable of handling many large targets. They also have an extremely sensitive sense of smell, able to detect scents from several miles away. Their diet is highly flexible, ranging from salmon, roots, and berries to protein-rich prey when conditions allow. Every pursuit or retreat centers on one equation: gaining enough energy without wearing themselves down. That mix of power and strategy is what makes the grizzly bear a symbol of survival in the north. Mating season turns the northern forest into a quiet battleground. Adult male grizzlies constantly leave signals through scent, claw marks on tree trunks, and familiar patrol routes. For them, it is a way to declare control without having to meet face to face. When two figures weighing more than 600 pounds move toward each other, tension usually rises gradually instead of flaring up at once. They watch and test one another from a distance, walking in parallel, breathing hard, eyes gauging every move. It feels like a negotiation over boundaries and the right to stay close to a potential mate. If the risk seems greater than the reward, one will deliberately turn away, because saving energy is sometimes the wiser way to survive. But if neither side yields, the confrontation shifts into a test of limits. Body weight, shoulders, and chest become the main tools to press and push the rival out of a favorable position. Claws and teeth serve mostly as points of contact to keep balance and apply steady pressure. With just a brief break in timing, the weaker side turns away, and the tension drops immediately. The one that stays keeps control. The one that retreats keeps a chance for the next season. Behind each of these contests stands the female grizzly. Most of the time, a female leans toward a male that is strong, enduring, and able to hold a stable home range. But once cubs are in the picture, priorities shift at once. The mother bear puts safety first and is ready to lead her young away if an unfamiliar bear comes too close. For that reason, territory is more than just a place to live. It is where every choice to advance or withdraw leaves lasting consequences, from opportunities to reproduce to the level of safety for the cubs, and ultimately the future of the entire population. Mountain goats are master climbers, able to conquer rock faces with slopes up to about 60 degrees, thanks to split hooves that grip firmly and extremely strong legs. The grizzly bear, driven by hunger, leaves the valley and climbs mountain slopes up to 10,000 feet high in search of this valuable source of protein. When it senses pressure from behind, the mountain goat does not flee in a straight line. It changes direction constantly over loose rock, jumps across narrow ledges, and chooses paths where the pursuer struggles to find stable footing. Even so, the bear still focuses on a mother and young pair that has become separated from the herd and is stuck near a rock edge less than 2 feet wide, a position with both high opportunity and high risk. The mother mountain goat stamps her feet in warning, as if to remind that the cliff always favors those who know the way. After several attempts to close in, the bear finally decides to move on, conserving energy and saving its strength for future hunts. When Alaska's rivers begin to fill with salmon, the entire landscape seems to change its rhythm. This is also when the grizzly bear enters a stage called hyperphagia, an intensified feeding period before hibernation, spending almost the whole day taking in energy and building fat reserves. At the start of the season, waterfalls become hot spots, where hundreds of brown bears gather to feed. Salmon have to leap upward to fight the current, while the bears only need to stand in the right spot and wait for the right moment. At this time, the grizzly shows quick, precise catches, repeated over and over like a habit shaped by countless seasons in the wild. Toward the end of the season, the current softens. Many salmon have grown weak after their long journey and cluster in slower sections of the river. The grizzly bear leaves the falls and moves down to calmer stretches, making the most of the remaining energy of the season in a way that saves effort, yet stays effective. Thanks to this strategy, a bear may consume dozens of salmon in a single day, turning that stored fat into a reserve layer that helps the body endure the cold months. When the salmon feast finally comes to a close, the grizzly leaves the riverbank, searches for a high, dry, and sheltered place, and digs a warm den. Once the den is ready, it curls up and settles in for the Alaska winter. This is not only the bear's survival journey. Nutrients from the salmon follow its tracks deep into the forest, enriching the soil, nourishing plants, and indirectly sustaining a whole chain of other living creatures. It is the cycle of nutrients flowing from river to land along the most natural path. Wolves are famous for their speed, pack coordination, and very quick ability to read situations. But the moment a grizzly bear appears, the atmosphere changes at once. Like a wall of territorial power, it forces the entire pack to slow down, shifting into careful probing and step-by-step risk assessment. In Yellowstone, a grizzly bear buries part of its food under the snow as a way to secure that resource for later. The scent draws a wolf pack in. They build their numbers, tighten the circle, and search for a safe angle of approach. But the grizzly only needs to hold its ground, standing firm like an unmoving landmark. Instinct tells the wolves that today, the price of contesting this share is too high. In another encounter, the wolves try to draw the grizzly away from its meal with feints of moving forward and back, spreading out to create confusion. But the pressure created by the grizzly is enough to make every calculated attempt quickly lose momentum. After just a few tests, the whole pack withdraws, leaving the meal to the one holding the clear advantage. These encounters are not simple contests of winning or losing, but a comparison between strategy and raw physical power. Wolves win through rhythm and coordination, while the grizzly wins through presence. The elk is the athlete of the mountains, a large-bodied animal with the antlers of males spreading up to about 4 feet. Every breath in the cold air is a signal of alertness, and bursts of speed that can reach 45 miles per hour force most predators to recalculate their distance. For the grizzly bear, the elk is not only a source of energy, but also an opponent that forces it to adjust its tactics. When the bear presses the elk toward the water's edge, the chase shifts into a test of strength in the cold river, where the bear's weight begins to work in its favor. In the water, the long legs that are an advantage on land become a hindrance, causing the elk to slow down noticeably. With each passing moment, the grizzly bear gradually takes control and gains an energy reward estimated at about 100,000 calories, enough to help it maintain strength through many days of searching ahead. On another mountain slope, the grizzly bear closes in from behind with a bite measured at around 1,200 pounds per square inch. The elk fights back, surging forward in an effort to open a path away from this formidable predator. But after a few tense moments of struggle, the grizzly bear secures the upper hand. That is a reminder of the cycle of survival. That precious energy is stored by the grizzly bear as fat reserves for the lean days ahead. What remains quietly nourishes birds, insects, and the surrounding forest floor. A small piece of evidence of the wild's unending rhythm. In the forests of Alaska, The moose is an opponent that forces the grizzly bear to think more carefully than in most other hunts. An adult can stand over 6 feet at the shoulder and weigh more than 1,400 pounds, with antlers spread wide like a moving shield, strong enough to push back any animal that comes too close. For that reason, the bear rarely chooses to rush straight in. It keeps its distance and watches for weaknesses in its target. With a young moose, the bear gradually pushes it towards the water's edge or into marshy ground, where escape routes narrow and its stride slow, making it easier to bring the chase to a close before the bear exhausts itself. Against a full-grown moose, the rhythm of the hunt changes again. The bear tries to draw its opponent into deeper stretches of river or onto soft, muddy ground, using the terrain as an ally. Each step the moose takes grows heavier, while the grizzly steadily increases pressure and relies on solid muscle to stay balanced. But the moose does not simply give in. It stands its ground, lowers its center of gravity, and swings its front legs in a powerful warning, forcing the bear to pause for a moment and reassess the risk. For that reason, these confrontations are never one-sided. With just a brief lapse in judgment, the balance can shift in an instant. The honey badger is not the strongest, but it is one of the few creatures that forces the entire savanna to rethink its assumptions. For those who have followed this journey to the end, it becomes clear that survival is not only about strength, but about the resolve to stand firm under pressure. If these wild stories inspire a deeper curiosity about nature, a simple like helps support the work. And for those who wish to continue exploring the most authentic moments of the natural world, subscribing ensures the journey continues.